Hello, everyone. This is Adam with Fear No Evil, back with another Saturday security tip. We're continuing our discussion on recognizing threat indicators or pre attack indicators. We've been going from head to toe, looking at different areas, different things that you need to pick up on. Also, we discussed briefly Cooper's color codes of awareness: white, yellow, orange, and red. So, the first video we talked about people wearing Fauci face diapers as a means of concealing their identity and their pre-attack indicators. So we focused on facial and verbal pre-attack indicators or threat indicators. And then the next video, we dealt with threats originating from the hands and talked about the Filipino concept of defanging the snake, and how the arm is the snake and what the hands are holding. That equates to the fangs, what is actually dangerous to you. So today we're going to look at threat indicators originating from the feet. Don't laugh at my Crocs. They're awesome boating shoes. Wear them for kayaking. They're waterproof. Doesn't matter if you get them wet. They don't scuff. So that's why I still have Crocs. But they're going to be a helpful illustration as we talk about threat indicators originating from the feet today. So what do you need to look out for when you're considering whether somebody might be a threat to you or not as you look at their feet? So first we can talk about their position. So let me grab another pair here. So the way somebody's feet are pointing can be an indication. So if people are standing around in a group or sitting, and if somebody's foot, if one of their feet is pointing at you, though they may be trying to act like they're not paying attention to you, they are paying attention to you. They're focused on you, but they're hiding it. Or if their foot is pointing toward the door, maybe they're thinking about, all right, after I attack that person, how do I make my escape? So that could be an indication that somebody's paying attention to you based on the position of the feet. If they're pointing at you or pointing at an exit, might be something that you should be aware of. And also, as far as position, if somebody drops back into a fighting stance, or Taekwondo and Hapkido is what I'm most familiar with. Usually you put your strong leg back, weak leg forward, and you got your hands up in a fighting position. I think in legal circles, they talk about taking a pugilistic stance. I think that has to do with boxing. But you know what somebody looks like when they're just standing around normally, or what they look like when they're preparing for a fight. So if they drop back into a fighting stance, that could be a good clue that you might be in for some trouble, and you need to start thinking about what you're doing in response to what they're doing. So those are some things in regard to position, where they're pointing or what kind of stance they're in. Some other things you might need to think about are the movement of the feet. So if they're striding toward you in an aggressive manner, very stiff and hurried gait, or if they're running at you, well, that's a big red flag, right? Something you need to be aware of and prepared for. Also, if somebody is bouncing up and down on the balls of their feet, could be full of nervous energy, could be hyped up and preparing themselves for attack, or if they're just pacing in circles or back and forth, that's something you need to be aware of. Also, what is actually on the feet could be an indicator. So I used to work in Philadelphia, stocking ATMs in some of the worst neighborhoods in one of the worst cities, walking into these corner stores with $20,000-$30,000 at a time, walking through crowds of drug dealers to get into the stores. And so it was definitely a time for a heightened sense of awareness. So I was the guard and the driver, and I'd work with the loader, who was also armed and very capable. And so frequently we would look at people's feet to determine whether they were higher on, and you never want to deal in absolutes. Did you catch that? um, you usually don't want to completely rule somebody out, or yeah. So when you adjust where you think of them on the scale of, are they a threat or are they not? You just deal in terms of more likely or less likely, but it's generally not a good idea to completely rule somebody out. But if somebody came in wearing stuff like this that has a loose fit, that didn't provide much traction, much ankle support, we would consider those lower on the scale of probability that they were about to do something criminal. But if somebody came in with these high traction hiking boots or some military boots, something that was laced up tight, provided ankle support, had good soles, good traction, then they're more likely they're higher up on the scale. At least if they had some bit of intelligence to them, which criminals don't always. I mean, if you were going to attack somebody, would you want to be wearing something like this? Because could you run away very well wearing these? Or could you get traction to fight somebody? Not very much. But like I said, criminals aren't always that intelligent. But generally, high traction, high ankle support, and all that kind of thing is what somebody that was intelligent and thinking about it would prefer if they were going to get into a fight or have to run. So those are some things to think about in regard to how your feet can be an indication of somebody else's feet could indicate whether they're going to be trouble for you or not. Their position, their movement, what's on them. And here's bonus material. Somebody drops back into Daniel LaRusso's crane stance, very good chance that you're about to get kicked in the face. So keep an eye out for that. Hope that's been helpful to you. If there's anything else I can do for you, contact me at fearnoevil.us. Thanks.